All right, y'all. Yo, what's going on? It's your man Ace back at it again. So, y'all know the routine by now if you watched my other pre markets. So, first thing I'm going to do is talk about where Tesla is currently, um, what it's doing currently in the pre market, and we'll take a look at any news. And then, third, we'll go over my game plan for today. Now, let's jump into what Tesla's doing so far. So currently, Tesla is up 1.79% in the pre-market. We did jump up significantly. Yeah, we gapped up from the post-market close Wednesday at 322.78, and we gapped up to 325.75. Currently, we're at 327.90 and 94. And so, yeah, I expect. Did I refresh this? Let's see. Yeah, 327.69 right now in the pre market, up 1.75% right now at the moment. We did drop a little bit. So, last Wednesday, so Wednesday was interesting, right? Because I did not expect what happened yesterday, or excuse me, not yesterday, but Wednesday. So as soon as the market opened, man, we just Tesla started out strong. The market was not as strong. So Q, SPY, everything else was not as strong. In fact, there was a significant pullback, whereas Tesla just, man, showed relative strength right off the bat, um, and just took off. It just took off. And I was just watching. Like I didn't jump in any trades Wednesday at all, but I did conduct a few paper trades to test my thesis to make sure I'm seeing this correctly. So what I wanted to do was just kind of watch and paper trade and test my thesis as we move closer towards the robotaxi launch. Now it looks like there is some news, so I'll talk about that as well. Um, but yeah, I wanted to get a good feel for what how Tesla behaves during a you know uh, the week of the launch. So I think I mentioned this in the other pre-market prep videos is that or my not pre-market prep but my trading recap videos that's also on this available on this channel. Um, yeah, man, I noticed that during these aggressive like pullbacks, notice we had this aggressive trend upward, right? But when we have aggressive pullbacks like these, I can expect Tesla to make like a $3 to $4 run, um, back to the upside. Now, it did it one, two, three times that day. So it was crazy. Like we did it here, we did it here. These also count, but those are not typically what I'm looking for. But like if it retests a key level, so we obviously continue to down, broke structure and started our way downward, um, hit this key level here, and then continued to push. Buyer stepped in and pushed its stock price back up. But then, sellers stepped in aggressively at this key level. So you can see we touched this key level here. We rejected off this key level. Sellers pushed the stock back down. So this was at 12:32, so just about noon. Tried to break. We broke above this key level several times. So here, here, and here, and then we retested this level, and obviously this level became, resistance. Sellers stepped in each time and pushed the price back down. So we came back and retested this level, and you can see this is the wick here, from this point to this point. So that showed me buyers was like, yeah, we're gonna keep the stock, you know, above 320. So I was like, we had this aggressive push. and buyers still, stayed aggressive at this level. So I was like, cool. But yeah, and I took a few paper trades to test my thesis, and yeah, every time. So these would have been winners. And the average win amount would have been, three to like roughly 2,800 to like 3,400. It just depends on how late or how long I would have stayed in the particular trade. So let's jump into news. Let's see. I did see something interesting here. So Tesla faces a significant quarterly triple witching event this Friday, with 6.5 trillion in U.S. equity options expiring, likely increasing market volatility as dealers adjust hedges. Now, if we go to, let me go to the news here and refresh this screen. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see if I see it here. Uh, Maybe they put it here. No? Okay, let me do a quick search. I just want to get the correct definition for quarterly triple witching. Quarterly triple witching. All right, so I'm just gonna get a quick definition. So quarterly triple witching refers to a specific day that occurs four times a year on the third Friday of March, June, September, and December. So we'll have another one in September, when three types of financial contracts expire. So we have the stock index futures, stock index options, and single stock options. So let's talk about why it matters. Triple witching days can lead to higher trading volume, increased volatility, last minute price swings near the market close due to traders unwinding or rolling over positions. Now, I do have a couple of swings for Tesla that are set to expire today. So we'll see what happens today. I'm not really expecting much of a move to the upside, but we'll see. Like I haven't. This is my first time new to day trading, so we'll see. So if the trend continues upward, like let's see where we're at right now. So we're at 327. I don't know if Tesla jumps out the gate strong like it did Wednesday. That would be crazy, because if we get anywhere to, back to the 350, this level where we kind of rejected off of a couple of times. But if we get back up to 350, if they're saying it's going to be that volatile and people are stepping in like that, then I'd like to see. Now, that's the upside, but maybe it might, close, like sellers might step in aggressively and push the stock down, significantly. So we'll see. Like, I don't know. But I will tell you when I look at SPY, you know, trended downward the entire day, you know, kind of consolidated almost a little bit, but then just continued this descent. And even in the post market, just continued the descent. And then in the pre market today, had this huge, it looks like a gap down. Oh no, it's just a wick. So yeah, we just huge wick to the, and descent still. But then look at this jump. So I tried to see if we had any news at 640, around 640. and I didn't see any today. So um, I don't know what caused this push, but hey, we are starting, or we might open above the previous day low, which was Wednesday's low of 596.47. And so I'll keep a watch on both SPY and QQQ, because Q's did the same thing. Like we can same descent, same pattern, right? And then this huge push around 640. So I'll keep an eye on Q's and SPY and see what happens today. Maybe uh, I don't know, might have some favor, and I might be able to I don't know, reduce my swing loss, because right now they're all losing, right? They're all about to expire and they're all losing. And so we'll see. We'll see. So the next thing, let's go over my game plan today. Let's go over my game plan, right? All right. So taking a look at Tesla today, and like I said, I drew out these key levels to help, you know. Well, let's. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Let me check for other news. So we do have at 7:30 some orange folder news that could potentially impact the direction of the market today. So I'll come back and refresh that here in 15 minutes. I don't expect to stay on this live too long. Um, yeah, so I might not be on the live when the news breaks, because I was planning to do like a 20 25 minutes or something like that. But if I'm still on, then that's cool. But it looks like for the rest of the day we're in the clear. So 7:30 we'll have some orange folder news. We'll see what happens with it, and let's check regular news here. So Tesla set to launch robotaxi service in Austin. Now, Austin is asking Tesla to postpone the launch. So let's see. Shares were up 1.8% following a report on the launching of its robotaxi this weekend. So yeah, again, that's supposed to happen on the 22nd, which is Sunday. The service will launch with an initial 10 cars. Okay, so we're getting more details. At first, it wasn't clear as to the number of cars that would be launched. The Financial Times reported Friday, which today, obviously, so sometime earlier today, citing sources familiar with the matter. The cars will be geofenced, avoiding the city's challenging intersections, and will include teleoperators ready to intervene if needed. The Financial Times added. So that's cool, right? Because the big issue was with safety. And so that's good that it looks like Tesla looked at ways to, you know, have a safe launch, right? And ensure, the public safety and the rider safety, right? So that's pretty dope. All right, so let me close out of this. Back to top movers. Yeah, so here we go. 12 minutes ago. Let's look at this one real quick. So, Texas lawmakers urge Tesla to delay robotaxi launch in Austin until new law takes effect. So, a group of Democratic state lawmakers. Now, that's crazy. Like, why would you ask? So, let's take a look and find out why the lawmakers would want. Because from a company's point of view, like, why would I delay a launch for something that is going to disrupt the market that the people are actually demanding, right? So, it's safer if we can have autonomous robo taxis, right? Especially for women, because there's a lot of women that's been unalived, when, you know, services like Uber and Lyft, launched. I didn't even know this, but I was talking to other, women, and man, there was a lot of stories, and it's amazing how unaware we could be, that impacts so many people across the country, man, and not even, like I said, and just not even be aware. So that's just super crazy that people were. I was told that people were showing up to pick up women that weren't that didn't align with the pictures on the service. And I was like, what they was doing? Like, that's crazy. And so like women who were, you know, taught or just intuitively knew better just was like, nah, like I'm not getting in this vehicle. So no thank you. So yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, I think this solves, definitely solves that problem. So let's take a look at what's happening. So it says a group to delay the rollout of its autonomous robotaxi service in Austin, citing pending state regulations set to take effect in September. And it's crazy. In September, we're also going to have, remember, in the third Friday, that triple witching um, effect event take place again. So in a letter addressed to Tesla's director of field quality, Eddie Gates, 7 members of Austin delegation requested a delay, saying it would be in the interest of public safety and would help build trust in the company's operations. I feel like if the company is doing what they just, like I read um, a moment ago, like listen, there was concern about what could happen in a robo taxi. Well, okay, the thing that I don't like is that it's not completely transparent when people are trying to. I don't know what their issue is with Tesla specifically, but I just don't like when information is biased, right? If you go to the statistics, and in fact, let me just pull it up real quick because ChatGPT now, oops, ChatGPT now has access to this information, so we can pull this up, and just to get an idea, right? uh, Statistics of car accidents in the US 2024. So let's take a look at this and then you'll understand my point, right? So, but let's look at the overall traffic fatalities in trend. So, an estimated 40,000 people died in the US in US traffic crashes in 2024. And this marks the first time since 2020 that fatalities dropped below 40,000. The estimated fatality rate fell from 1.26 to 120 per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. So quarterly region breakdown. So Q1, let's see. No, I'm looking for pedestrian and bicyclist fatalities. In the first half of 2024, 3,300 pedestrians were killed. A slight 2.6 decrease year over year, yet 48% higher than in 2014. For bicyclists, 2023 deaths reached 1166, a 4.4% increase since 1980, and injuries soared nearly 50,000. Um, Data for 2024 not yet available in that depth. So, key risk, distracting driving, right? Especially due to phone use. So, like, there's an ongoing safety issue with driving, period. Okay. And to focus specifically on one, like, yeah, there's concern. Like, what happens if there's a glitch in the system? What's going to happen? So, but if you like tell me, okay, like here are the concerns that's being expressed. Now, what are you going to do about how do you address these concerns, Tesla? And then we see that, oh, there's going to be a servicer within the vehicle that's ready to, step in. Well, that's dope. Okay. So yeah, it's robo. Let's test it out. Let's test it out over a period and let's, test the consistency and make sure it's safe. And identify other ways that we can ensure safety. And then they gated it off, right? So there's only a specific you know uh range, or I don't even know how to describe that, a limited vicinity where the robo taxis will be driving or servicing, right? And it's away from high traffic and, places where, the probability of something tragic happening is likely. So that's dope that Tesla is making, taking the steps to, avoid those types of situations. So let's see here. My point is I would just prefer that, if there's an argument about safety, keep it 100% transparent and across the board. It's not just with a robo taxi service, it's just driving in general. Like there's a lot of accidents happening. Anybody that travels to work in the morning knows this, right? Every single freaking day there's traffic, right? And it's just like, man, why can't people just drive safely? So, but when you think about AI, look at the use of AI like ChatGPT. There's a huge opportunity here to reduce accidents, right? Imagine, like we see in the futuristic videos, that there's just going to be autonomous driving, period, that will reduce accidents, period. Like the potential for the number of accidents to be reduced due to AI technology is huge. So let's not ignore the upside to that because people, humans, man, we just get like I s- yo, like I see now. Listen, man, I'm not trying to be one sided here, but let's keep it 1,000, man. Let's keep it a buck. I'm just telling y'all what I observe. Like I be seeing women on the road and on the freeway, man. Cup in hand in one hand and makeup in the other hand. Like, yo, coffee or a comb or a brush, doing their lashes in the mirror thing. Like, I'm like, yo, some will be on the phone, like chopping it up, doing other things, like chopping it up one, and I'm just like, man, just so many distractions on the way, like pushing it right because they're just about late to work. So I'm like, man, listen, man, what I've seen on the highway, I hate driving, period. So for me to, I'm actually interested in this type of service. Like I hate driving. Like, and then you don't have to pay a chauffeur if this actually launches successfully. Now, me personally, like a new tool that happens that is launched in the medical field, or a new prescription or drug, I'm not going to be the first one to test that, right? I understand that there has been testing behind the scenes, but if you go to the data, like I've looked at the data for certain drugs that have been launched, and in the commercials, and obviously I'm a person of color, right? But what I do is now I understand, like I research, man. It's just intelligence to do your due diligence. So as a person of color, our chemical makeup is different. Okay. So this is what I've learned through science. Okay. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Our makeup is different, right? So we're the same on so many levels, right? Across the board in terms of the human race, but there are some differences, right? And so chemically we're different, and I noticed that the drugs that are launched in the marketplace, in the commercial, they'll have black people present, and like at the forefront, like as the main, like visually saying, communicating to the public, like, yeah, hey, people of color, this drug is for you. But then you go to the data and you see a huge disparity between, the percentage of Caucasians that's been tested, this drug has been tested on, versus the percentage of people of color. And there's a huge disparity. And I'm just like, wait, how do you have 80 to 90% of Caucasian, this drug being tested with on Caucasians, but then for people of color, 1 or 3%? Like, yo, that come on, man, that's not transparent at all. But on the commercial, you're gonna launch this commercial with people of color like all at the forefront, as if this is something you like thoroughly tested this on. And then you go to the side effects and you're just like, wait, what? Like people of color, look at what people of color are suffering from with within the 1.3% or the 3%, 1 to 3% that this has been tested on. So I'm like, no, that's not. I'm not gonna participate in your drug trials because listen, these drug companies are not keeping track of the data. Neither are they, transparently disclosing this information to the public in terms of what they see over the course of 5 years, 10 years after the drug is actually launched. So but with AI, this is like straight data, right? People are able to watch closely. They're experiencing it. So, like, no, I wouldn't be the first one to test this out unless there was, safety precautions like the guardrails in place, like we just read for Tesla. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that at all. But once I see, like, after a couple of years that this thing is working and the software updates are working, everything is working consistently for the most part. And it's generally safe, then yeah, I do it. So anyway, let's move on. So I digress. Under the new Tesla law, operators of autonomous vehicles must first obtain authorization from the State Department of Motor Vehicles. So they want to send you through the red tape first. To qualify, companies must demonstrate their vehicles can follow traffic laws. Um, these companies do take advantage of unregulated markets. In the AI market, there's a lot of opportunity to take advantage of, the marketplace, not in a negative way, but to launch without all of the red tape. Um, I do feel like, I do feel like I don't know. Like, there's mixed feelings, right? Because I just want to make sure that it's safe. So if you got people in the vehicles ready to step in, that's cool. I think that's good, man. And then you're limiting the range, the vicinity in which the vehicles will operate. So that's even better. Like, so anyway, test line are insured, are registered, meet federal standards, including recording systems and default to minimum risk conditions. I think Tesla can get ahead of this now. So I'll check to see what Tesla's doing in regards to these and let you guys know. So Tesla CEO previously said the company was tentatively targeting June 22nd. I told y'all about that already. It could be June 28th, but noted the team was being super paranoid about the safety and the timeline could shift. So they're checking it, right? I Do you think Elon would want, something critical to happen, that would negatively impact Tesla? Heck no. Like, why would he? So I believe that he's interested in keeping this thing, making sure this thing is successful, this launch is successful. So let's see. It's a pivotal moment for Tesla. We know that, which has faced political scrutiny and stock volatility in recent months. Lawmakers asked Tesla to respond with evidence that its operations will meet the new legal requirements if it moves forward with the rollout this weekend. It's like, wow, why do you need me to respond with evidence? I'm doing everything within the current laws, so like, stop it. Like, if you're gonna focus, don't just focus on me. Like, let's do the across the board, right? So I don't want to hear that. So it looks like we do have read the 7:32. So let's check the news, okay? All right, so information in is in, and okay, high PPI and it's wow. Okay, so let's see how the markets responded. So I don't see anything. Yeah, they're still up. So okay, so markets are still trending in the same direction, so that's a good sign. So let's see how the launch. Let's see what happens. Not the launch, the open once the market opens. So it's 7:30, a little after 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So the market opens at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and we'll see what happens. So let me go over my game plan before I drop the mic and get out of here, right? So like I said, I did clean up the charts. Let me get rid of this. I did clean up the charts so we can kind of understand. So let me go over the color scheme, right? So on the On the chart, you can see I have a few different colors, but let's go over the orange, right? The orange represents the 15-minute time frame. So higher low, remember, key levels are just old highs, old lows. So every key level, every orange key level drawn out here is just some old high and old low that will either serve as support for the stock to bounce off of and then continue its trend upward, or serve as resistance for the stock to bounce off of and continue its trend downward. All right, so that's what that means simply, right? Now the red represents the 5 minute, or excuse, yeah, the 5 minute. Okay, and then the next key level is the green, which is the 1 hour. All right. So currently I only have three drawn out, and then the white I just use as a general mark within the intraday session, for something that I might be seeing. So that's basically I'm on the 1 minute. So let's just consider that a 1 minute uh, for color for the 1 minute. So let's take a look here. All right. So, oops, didn't mean to hide the drawings. Let's go to, yeah, we can stay on the 15 minutes. So let me do this. All right, so we got a few key levels here. Now, the thing that I want y'all to pay attention to first, let me hide this, is the pre-market low and the pre-market high, and the previous day low and the previous day high. I wrote a script and that I added to TradingView to have this drawn out for me automatically, so I don't have to do this every day. And that's really key. So all I have to do is kind of mark out these key levels. I'm gonna write a script for that as well to automatically draw my key levels at old highs and old lows. I just haven't finished it yet. I've already began. I just haven't completed it yet. So it's pretty simple too, right? You just go to the Pine editor and just kind of add your script. So I got this new script that I'm working on, but I'm not done yet. So we'll talk about that when it's relevant. So right now, we'll watch what after the open, once the market opens, we'll watch the reaction off of these four key levels, right? Since we're closer to the pre-market high and previous day high, I would expect either a strong push, like just a strong push above, and then like a retest before we continue, the trend upward, right? So that's what I'm thinking will happen. We could see, you know, um, from the open, some consolidation, right? And then maybe a reaction, seller stepping in from this key level, right? Pushing the stock back down to these key levels here, like the pre-market low. And then I'd like to see the reaction off the pre-market low to see if we bounce off of that level and then continue the trend upward, or if we stay heavy and just kind of retest this level as resistance and continue towards the previous day low. So that's what I'll be looking for coming into today's session. I got a few key levels marked out here um, that, again, are just old highs. If we look at Wednesday, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to talk about briefly these key levels here, right? So we're on the 15-minute chart. So if we continue strong right off the open, then we'll look at these key levels. Oops, let me switch to this. We'll look at these key levels here. So the next key levels that I have drawn out is 330 and 335. So I don't know if that's going to be the case at the open, but we'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens. Otherwise, I expect the stock to, if it trends downward, then the key levels that I have marked out is 325, 324, 323. Again, these two are the 5 minutes. So I just marked out this zone here because as you can see, yesterday, not yesterday, Wednesday, we respected this zone. So we came here right at the shortly after the open and retested this zone before we pushed higher. And then we rejected off of this key level here. This is the 1 hour key level that I drew out, right? So I'm just walking you guys through it. And then we came back, sellers pushed the stock back down and we fell back into this zone between these two. This is the 5 minute zone that I drew out, right? So you can see buyers stepping in at this level. So buyers were stepping in at this level. We did break above and close, excuse me, not above, but below. But buyers still stepped in aggressively and kept the stock above this level, right, within this zone. So we kind of stayed here um, within this zone, consolidated a bit, and now in today's pre-market open, we gapped up above that zone, and so yeah, we'll see the reaction off of this where we broke structure pretty much. So yeah, man, I really hope that we do continue upward. Like, man, if we get it, I don't know if that'll happen, but anyway, we'll see. So with that, that's what I expect coming into the open today. I'm not going to enter any trades unless I see like a, let's say like we have a strong push up, right? A strong push from the open. We break above. We break above here, retest this, and then just kind of shoot up like we did before Wednesday, and then we have this aggressive drop back down. So whether we stop here at this level or this level or this level, it doesn't matter what level we stop at. But if we have an aggressive drop like we did Wednesday, and I see confirmation on the, let me show y'all on a lower time frame. So we had this aggressive push, right? But then we had this slow trend downward. And this is what I want to see. So this isn't considered an aggressive break in structure. This is more aggressive. This is more aggressive. So these are what I'm looking for. After we have a trend downward, right? I want to see it. I want to see buyers step in. You see this huge wick on this candle here at 1202. So that's the kind of activity I want to see. I want to see buyers stepping in, sellers trying to push the price below a key level, but buyers step in. And I might look to take a trade here on the next candle, on the close of the next candle. But ideally, what I'm looking for is like an aggressive drop like this here. Um, and then to see the next one or two candles, what that activity looks like, then I can enter into the trade at this key level and catch. You see 320, let's just say 321, right? Catch $2 to $3. So to this level, we're at 323. So 322. So I could catch $2, $3, potentially $4. Same thing here. We came back, retested this level. Sellers tried to push the stock down, but buyers stepped in. You can tell by this wick here, from here to here, and buyers stepped in aggressively and pushed the stock back up. We did have some resistance, but buyers stepped in aggressively each time and kept pushing the stock back up. So, but yeah, that's what I'll be looking for when I coming until today. So we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what happens. But till next, I'm going to drop the mic right here. If you found this valuable, feel free to like and subscribe. Again, I only cover Tesla in the pre-market prep because I only trade Tesla specifically. I do kind of trade some other stocks just to test it out, to begin learning the behavior of other stocks. But I take very or enter very, very small positions for those, like very, very small. But my main focus is Tesla, and that's where I enter, either a 10K, between 10K to 50K positions on this stock. So that's what I'll be looking for. Um, so yeah, if you have any interest of trade Tesla, I will be posting videos showing how the average amount that you can make, the lowest price, the lowest position you can enter in for a trade and make money with Tesla. So I'll be posting videos of that shortly. Um, Probably I wanted to do it this month, but it'll probably start next month. But let's just say definitely in July. Okay, so till next video, I'll see you guys on Monday. All right, I'm dropping the mic right here. It's your man Ace. I'm out.